Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, and Elon Musk. Do you know what's in common among these big names besides they're all well-known entrepreneurs who founded or run extremely successful companies? They're all frequently described as introverts. Yes, Elon Musk is an introvert. Although he often makes headlines, Musk has described himself as more comfortable working behind the scenes. What does that matter to you? Being a project manager isn't nearly as difficult as building a business empire like theirs. So if these introverts can do it, why can't you be a project manager as an introvert? Yes, you can, 100%. Maybe you're not convinced yet? Well, I'm an introvert too, and I'm a project manager responsible for the strategic business transformation projects at my company. Now, give me 10 minutes. At the end of this video, I guarantee that you will be confident in becoming a project manager even if you are an introvert. And you will take away my best advice to make it come sooner than later. There are 3 parts of this video. I'll first talk about the advantages, followed by the disadvantage of being a project manager as an introvert. Lastly, I will share the top 3 skills that you should possess to become a successful project manager as an introvert. Without further ado, let's get started. There are 3 core advantages for an introvert to become a project manager. These are essential qualities for project managers, yet rarely found in an extrovert. Contemplation. Well, we introverts spend lots of time to reflect ourselves every day. We tend to think of things at a deeper level and from different angles, while an introvert often shifts attention quickly to something else. We don't feel exhausted, and quite the opposite, this is how we recharge. Now let's bring that characteristic to the project management world. Before taking any action, introverts tend to gather and analyze all available data carefully and weigh different options. We also have a nature to focus on details which can potentially have a huge impact on our projects. Such contemplation really contributes to our greater abilities in project planning and execution monitoring. A project plan is the foundation of any project, and to create a well-thought-out project plan, we must take everything into consideration. While I'm planning for my projects, I block the time in my calendar so that I can focus without distraction. I will jot down all I learned about the project scope, constraints, resources, stakeholders, etc. I make sure I capture all the details, and if I'm still uncertain about anything, I will make a note and will find out the answers and take them into account in my project plan. Similarly, in execution monitoring, with the nature to pay attention to details, it's easier for us to spot anything abnormal in our project and to prevent the team from getting off track. Documentation. This goes hand in hand with contemplation. Like it or not, documentation plays a key role in project management, especially in waterfall projects. But even in agile or hybrid projects, we still have to maintain project plans, take meeting minutes, gather business requirements, organize stakeholder feedback, etc. Not to mention that we also need to keep risk and issues logs, lessons learned, and other closing-related documents. Documentation is everywhere in project management. As introverts, we are naturally good at taking notes. Actually, we love documenting our thoughts and plans. This is probably due to the fact that most introverts love reading, and as a result, we are better at writing too. When I run my projects, I enjoy keeping clear and organized documents because it not only makes me feel satisfied, but also helps provide my stakeholders with clarity and thus enhances our communication. For example, I always send a meeting minutes to the attendees and those who couldn't make it. The meeting minutes include action items, key decisions made, and other important notes discussed. Therefore, I can have a record of all the items, which can be used to track accountabilities and set expectations. Communication. I know you may hold the perception that introverts are not great communicators because they don't like people. This is 100% wrong. First and foremost, it is not that we don't like people, but that our energy is consumed very fast when we are in a large group of people, and we feel more comfortable when staying alone or with a few close friends. Introverts have a social life and can still have outstanding communication skills. In project management, introverts have 3 advantages in terms of communication. Firstly, introverts excel in small group settings. We're definitely not a shining star in a networking event. In fact, we'll probably prefer not to attend any networking events in which there were more than 3 people. However, when we only have to do with a few people at a time, we're very good at forming a deep conversation and understanding stakeholders' concerns and needs. It's also important to only include the necessary stakeholders in each meeting. As project managers, we must value and respect our stakeholders' time. We should also determine if their inputs are required or if they need to know some of the information. So, having small yet highly targeted meetings is preferred in project management and naturally by introverts too. Secondly, introverts tend to listen more than talk. This is a great quality as a project manager because we should never be the technical experts, as our expertise lies in managing projects. We rely on subject matter experts' knowledge and experience in project planning and execution. To do that effectively, a great project manager should listen actively to the SMEs and never jump to conclusions too quickly. This can lead to more thoughtful project planning and robust risk management strategies. Thirdly, while talking in front of people may make introverts anxious, writing not only makes them feel more comfortable, but also shows their ability to communicate clearly and concisely. Similar to documentation, we are likely to spend time crafting the perfect emails or messages to provide the right amount of information to the right people. We also break down problems and summarize findings and suggestions in writing after analyzing complex information, which helps us excel in communication, budget tracking, project progress monitoring, and many other aspects of our projects. Now, let's move to the disadvantages for an introvert to become a project manager. Note that these are not showstoppers. Instead, I want you to use them as reminders. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. Having such disadvantages doesn't make us unqualified as project managers, as long as we understand them and use the right approach and attitude towards them. Limited assertiveness. Some introverted project managers may find it challenging to assert themselves during meetings or push back when necessary. This can sometimes lead to difficulties in directing team discussions or in situations where quick, decisive leadership is required. Sometimes we are labeled as unconfident because of this. As a result, we start to have self-doubts and lower confidence levels, which hurts our assertiveness further and creates a negative cycle. The limited assertiveness is a byproduct of our contemplation. Instead of judging ourselves, we must understand it's our nature to make thoughtful decisions and not act without full reflection. It has nothing to do with our abilities or skills. Difficulties with self-promotion. As introverts, we usually find it difficult to highlight our own or the team's achievements. However, as project managers, we must report project progress and summarize the values and benefits that our project brings to the organization. This is not only for our career progression, but also for our team motivation. As their leader, it's our responsibility to make sure our team members' contributions don't go unnoticed, because they earn it and they deserve it. However, the reluctation to self-promote can sometimes result in the project team's contributions being overlooked by upper management or in missed opportunities for career advancements. Continuous social interactions. As discussed earlier, introverted project managers excel at communicating in small settings and writing, which may make people think that our disadvantage is in large group communication. While that's terribly wrong. Even though we feel more comfortable with fewer people, we can do well in public speaking. We are also capable of running large meetings such as workshops and group discussions. What really drains our energy is continuous social interactions. The key lies in continuousness. When we have back-and-back or long sessions, our energy gets depleted quickly. Yet we don't have the opportunity to recharge by working alone or taking a walk. Unlike extroverts, who can actually recharge themselves with social interactions, will feel exhausted in continuous social interactions, and thus our focus and productivity will be affected. Luckily, there are ways to avoid it. For example, I always try my best to make sure I don't have back-to-back sessions on my calendar by either scheduling them apart on purpose or booking blocks on my calendar in advance. Also, I shift my focus on my own work after meetings, especially long ones, such as updating project plans, writing documents, etc. By inserting these charging gaps into my working schedule, I can reduce the impact of continuous social interactions as much as possible. Now that we're aware of the advantages and disadvantages of being a project manager as an introvert, I want to highlight 3 skills that introverted project managers should possess and practice. Leadership. The role of a project manager is a leadership role. You don't put yourself at the center of the room and draw all the attention. Of course, you won't because you are an introvert, but the point is that the work is done by your team and stakeholders. So project management is actually more about people management. I keep saying that more than 80% of my job is on communication. Who do I communicate with? People. These people may not even report to you. People managers rarely have formal authority. I mean, your project team is likely formed specifically for each project with staff from other teams or departments within the company. As the leader, we must know how to inspire and motivate our team. We must be able to pull them back when they get off track, even without the authority tool. So how do we do it? We must lead by example. Trust, and relationships. We must empower our team members. This is leadership, a valued asset under your project management belt, regardless if you are introvert or extrovert. And it's not just our project team that we communicate with. A lot of time we talk to people who are above our pay grades too. They are your C-level executives, vice presidents, directors, regional managers, you name it. They could be more experienced and skillful. Yet, they're counting on you to accomplish the project and to achieve the benefits for the organization. You earn their respect and trust with your leadership on each project. This is why it's so important to develop leadership if you want to be a great project manager. Issue resolution. I'm being very specific on this. I don't mean risk management or problem solving. I'm talking about issue resolution. An issue is a problem or challenge that has negative impacts on the project that has already occurred or is occurring. Issues are almost inevitable in all projects, no matter how well you plan or how closely you monitor. As the project manager, we must quickly jump out, analyze the situation, and make the judgment call accordingly. If the decision is above our pay grades, we gather all the information and provide suggestions along with reasons to support the higher-ups decision making. When resolving issues, we need to balance between minimizing losses such as reputation damage, financial loss, and time wasted, and minimizing costs such as additional working hours, reduced quality or productivity. This is the time we stand up without hesitation, make a game plan quickly, and bring the project back on track. If you can resolve any issues as soon as they arise, your stakeholders and team will know that you can count on you to carry them to the finish line. Energy management. It sounds like the 11th knowledge area from the pinball guy, but it isn't. Energy management is exclusively for introverted project managers. We touched on this idea earlier as well when I explained how I block time in my calendar to avoid continuous social interactions. And it's way more important than blocking time on your calendar because without effective energy management, we won't be able to remain focused and productive as project managers. And effective energy management comes from self-awareness. There are 3 things you need to be aware of. The fact that introverts can be great project managers, what activities drain your energy and by how fast, and what activities recharge you and for how long. Let me explain. You need to understand what activities drain your energy and how long you can do them before you are burned out or mentally exhausted. This is different for everyone, so you need to find out yours. For example, I can run in-person meetings with more than 10 people in a conference room for up to 3 hours, but I can only stay at a company party or networking event for 45 to 60 minutes before feeling overwhelmed or awkward. Lastly, you're going to find out what activities can charge your battery most effectively. I'd like to take a walk when listening to music for half an hour after a heavy loaded session, and I tend to shift to other tasks before I finalizing the meeting minutes so I can release my mind from the tension I got from the meeting and relax by doing something else. Once you find out these things, plan the energy drainers accordingly and insert battery rechargers into a calendar. When your meetings are rescheduled, move your rechargers along as well. Of course, you can't have 10 walks each for 30 minutes a day, but you get the idea. Now, if you're really considering becoming a project manager, come join our free PM Career Launcher community where you will find people like you who share the same interest in project management. You can also find some free resources to guide you on how to enter project management. I will also be there to answer questions and share insights about the transition and many other things about project management. The link is in the description. Alright, I hope you find some values from this video and you are confident to pursue your career in project management, even if you are an introvert like me. This week, I'm going to talk about whether you can be a project manager if you don't have any technical background. Until then, have a wonderful day.